Bowtie Nation, Joseph Hogue here, and Nation, the space race is on.
Space.
And that's about as much of that as I can play without getting sued, but let's just say I'm going to be tragically disappointed if the new Space Force doesn't have at least one new recruit named James T. Kirk. But here on Earth, space exploration is going to be big money, with everything from satellite internet providers to space tourism and defense getting involved. In fact, ARK Funds estimates the hypersonic flight segment alone could grow up to a $270 billion annual market over the next several years. That's 2.7 million passengers paying as much as $100,000 to rocket from New York to Japan in less than 3 hours. That data is from the Ark Invest Big Ideas Report, a 112-page research report from Kathy Wood and the team over at ARK Funds on the 15 life-changing trends they're following. Now, I love this report, tons of research here, but not so much for suggestions on which stocks to buy. For example, the first 8 pages is on deep learning and that trend in artificial intelligence, but nothing on which companies are primed to take advantage of that phenomenon. So over the next few months, I'm going to dig deep into these 15 disruptive trends, show you that research, help you analyze it, then reveal the top stocks to buy in each. I'll be putting these videos into a special playlist on the channel called Ark Invest Stocks to Buy. Make sure you join the community so you don't miss any of these videos, because these are going to be the stocks that you want to be in over the next decade. Now, the Ark research, and actually the upcoming ARKX Space Exploration ETF, which we'll talk about as well, focuses on 3 ideas with the space stocks theme. It explores the potential in global connectivity through near-orbit satellites, hypersonic travel, and how falling launch costs will enable all these changes. Now, the Space Exploration ETF goes a bit further, but these are the themes with the near-term potential highlighted in their research. For example, launch costs have already fallen from $14,000 a kilogram in 2016 to about $2,000 per kilogram, and with reusable ships, could fall to less than a few $100s, which makes it feasible to send everything up from satellites, people, and yes, even the USS Enterprise. And that could mean a boom in low Earth orbit satellites and reduce latency by a factor of 20 for super fast, inexpensive broadband all around the world. A market that could grow to over $100 billion globally in the next 5 to 10 years, with annual revenues topping $40 billion. So in this video, I want to take that research, find the best segments of the space exploration theme, then use the screener on Stock Card to find 5 space stocks to watch as we head into that final frontier. I'll share more of the ARK Invest research for each of the stocks in the list. Then I want to show you how to front-run the upcoming launch of that ARK Space Exploration ETF before it starts buying. To start our search for space stocks, we can use the Discover tab on stockcard.io, and there's a couple of ways I like to use this. I can just start typing in a topic like space here, and the drop-down is going to show me groups of stocks in that theme. Here, like space exploration, space travel, and launch services. Now, clicking on any of these is going to take me to all the stocks into that theme to start my research. I can also just go to this featured tab and then browse through the theme collections. These are some great long-term growth themes here like AI, virtual reality, and AR, and here we have that space travel and exploration group of stocks. I'll be using that screener to narrow my list of space stocks and then share some of the analysis straight from Stock Card. I'll leave a link to the site in the video description below. Don't forget to click through and follow our 2021 Bowtie Nation portfolio, up 32% already and beating the market by 25% this year. As a special bonus, I've negotiated an exclusive discount for everyone here in the community. Use the promo code BOWTIENATION, all one word in lowercase, for an exclusive discount beyond the free trial. Now, besides the long-term potential in these 5 space stocks that I'll highlight, now could be the perfect time to buy into this theme. Ark Invest filed its SEC registration for the Ark Space Exploration ETF, that's the ticker ARKX, on January 13th. That means probably sometime between April to May, the fund is going to be launching and buying up a lot of shares. And guided by that Big Ideas report, the ARK Space Exploration ETF is going to focus on 4 categories. Orbital aerospace companies that launch, make, and operate platforms in orbit, including satellites. Suborbital companies, which is going to include those drones, air taxis, and electric aviation. Enabling technologies that are going to allow us to do all this, including AI and robotics, and aerospace beneficiaries that are going to benefit from that space race, including internet access, GPS, and imaging. But now think about this. The smallest ARK Invest fund, the ARK Autonomous Tech ETF, has $1.7 billion invested in its stocks. It holds $350 million in the largest holding and more than $100 million in each of its top 10 stocks. So now, even on an average of $4 billion market cap for the 5 stocks that I'm going to show you right now, That could be a significant increase in demand, along with just the general increase in investor sentiment when the ARKX declares its holdings. And our first space stock is one that I am sure is going to be included in the ARK ETF, the $1.4 billion Loral Space and Communications, ticker LORL. Loral owns 63% of Telesat, one of the world's largest providers of satellite services, and is going to be merging into one company sometime in the third quarter. It also owns 56% of XStar, a consortium with Spanish telecom companies that provides X-band satellite services to governments around the world. Loral is also the largest holding in the Procure Space ETF, ticker UFO, so it's no stranger to investors looking for that space exploration theme. Now, the financial statements are a little funky here because the company books no revenue, but then reports its equity ownership in these other two companies in that post-tax equity interest. Now, those earnings grew 15% last year to $116 million to produce a profit of $3.01 per share. That puts the shares at about 15 times trailing earnings, which isn't too bad considering the growth that this company could see over the next 5 years. Virgin Galactic Holdings, ticker SPCE, is one of the most popular space stocks and the largest of our group at $7.25 billion market cap. Richard Branson wants to be the Elon Musk of space stocks, which I guess so does Elon Musk. But ARK is a big investor in Tesla, and I have no doubt it's going to be loading up on these Virgin Galactic shares when it buys for that ARKX fund. The company has completed 3 flight tests, including a rocket-powered space flight with a full cabin of mission specialists, and has cleared 7 FAA verification reports. Virgin expanded its fleet to 2 ships last year and aims to offer over 400 flights a year per spaceport. Now, unlike the other space stocks on the list, this one is still very much pre-revenue. Those sales are expected to jump 17-fold next year to $88 million, and then to almost triple again to $250 million in 2023. It's still a few years out from profitability, but is expected to report positive earnings by 2024. Maxar Technologies, ticker MAXR, has one of the broadest scopes of any of these companies on our list of space stocks. The $2.75 billion company has capabilities across geospatial data, satellites, robotics, and space infrastructure, with any one of them potentially supporting a multi-billion-dollar market. Maxar has large recurring contracts with governments and companies in 70 countries, including NASA, the Space Force, and Palantir. Management believes it can scale from $1.9 billion in 2020 bookings to opportunities worth over $25 billion over the next 5 years. The company booked 14% revenue growth in the most recent quarter and expects to report 24% earnings and sales growth next year to $1.15 per share earnings on $2 billion in revenue. Now, that puts it at about 27 times on a price to sales basis, but more importantly, just 1 year out from profitability, which could mean a strong boost to that investor sentiment. Iridium Communications, ticker IRDM, is the strongest player in that low Earth orbit satellite theme. The company already has 66 cross-linked satellites powering voice and data connectivity and 1.3 million subscribers. Iridium completed a multi-year upgrade in 2019, replacing all its satellites and upgrading its ground infrastructure. Besides giving it that opportunity to capitalize on a lot of these newer trends, that should also give it a couple of years of improving cash flow as capital spending moderates and those sales increase. The balance sheet is already pretty solid on this one, with $240 million in cash against just $1.6 billion in debt and plenty of cash to cover its current liabilities. The company is expected to post $605 million in sales this year and 7% growth to $647 million in the next year. Earnings are expected to turn positive next year from a loss of 14 cents per share to 5 cents a share in 2022. Now, it's a little pricey on that price to forward earnings basis, but just 10 times on the price to sales. Kratos Defense and Security, ticker KTOS, is one of the more interesting and frankly a little bit scary stocks in this list. Honestly, when you look at all the tech and the capabilities this company has, from unmanned drone systems to space management, missile defense, and microwave devices, Kratos is the tip of the spear in warfighting technology. The company's satellite and space segment already supports 90% of the US space missions and hundreds of commercial and government satellite missions. The company is also one of the strongest on the list for earnings, with profits expected at 36 cents a share this year and up 56% to 55 cents a share next year on 15% sales growth to over $957 million. Now, that puts it at just a 3.5 times on that forward price to sales basis. ARK is already a big investor here with $130 million in shares in its ARKQ Autonomous Tech and Robotics ETF, so it's a good bet that it's going to be adding these shares also to the ARKX Space Exploration Fund as well. Click on the video to the right for the 5 fintech stocks I'm buying for that rise of digital wallets. 5 stocks in my favorite Ark Invest Big Ideas theme. Don't forget to join the Let's Talk Money community by tapping that subscribe button and clicking the bell notification.